Hi viewers, welcome to my Clinic TV channel. I'm Moralai. Thank you for joining us today. In this video, you will see why Sylvester should not
We'll
have
be
died.
looking at the topic or the fact that medically speaking, Sylvester Oromoni was not supposed to die. So we're going to be looking at the medical aspect of the whole issue that happened. Now, don't forget that Sylvester Oromoni did not die on the day of the incident. He passed on days after the incident happened. So I want us to quickly analyze what happened, and I want us to see how the medical field or the medical sector of this country also failed Sylvester Oromoni. Now, don't forget that on the day the event happened or this incident happened, it was said that the seniors, after beating him and he fell from his bed, they stepped on him, stamped on him, beat him with belt, that they poured something into his mouth in a ferrous bottle. Now, when they poured something into his mouth, this boy started feeling discomfort. He was feeling pains. We understand that his tummy started getting bloated, bigger and bigger, and he was taken to the sick bay. Now let's start from there. Now, if he was taken to the sick bay, I want to believe that there should be matron or nurses or even a competent doctor at the sick bay, considering the amount of money parents are paying as school fees in that school. I understand they pay 3 million annually, and if we are to break down the costing of that 3 million, how the school arrive at that 3 million per annum, I want to believe that they are going to be charging or billing parents for the medical services their children or their wards get while they are in that school. Now, is it that the nurses or the matron or the doctor at the sick bay did not assess this boy to know that this is not a fall from football, this is not a football fall? They should have seen it. The way the boy was screaming when you touch his body, when you touch him, he couldn't walk. You should have seen that this thing is internal. This is not an external fall. This has nothing to do with external. Now, so we could tell that they were incompetent medical practitioners stationed at the school bay. They were not competent, because if they were competent, they would have known that this is an emergency situation. This cannot be a football fall. Now, we understand that the people at the sick bay were calling his parents that they should come for their child that he fell from playing football. I mean, a competent medical practitioner would know that this is not a football fall. Rather they would refer this boy or quickly take this boy, probably in their ambulance, to the nearest teaching hospital. We have Lut. I mean, in the heart of Lagos, there are good hospitals around, especially on the highland, that they could quickly take this boy to, because this is an emergency situation. Now, they did not do that. They were still calling the parent of the boy to come, and it now took hours for those ones to arrive. And when they arrived, they now drove him. I understand they took him to an hospital somewhere nearby, and where they also took him to, they just laid him there on the bed. No tests, probably tests were run and the result did not come out instantaneously. Now, those are part of the challenge we have in the medical sector in Nigeria, in the sense that little simple tests that can be carried out and the result can come out in a few seconds. They don't swing into action and get it done almost immediately here. Imagine, taking him to another hospital, looking at the way the boy was screaming, shouting, my back, my tummy, my this, my that. You should have known that something is happening internally. And the father, he said, he was giving something to drink. You should know that you are dealing with a poison situation here. Even if you are in doubt, you should have taken his urine sample or something, or looking at his mouth, examining his mouth, asking him to open his mouth. You would have known that something is not right, something is going on there. And a simple thing can be poured into his mouth to start um, disinfecting or to start purging him of whatever he has taken to make him throw up or to make him vomit, or a simple thing could have done to extract all those things. A simple procedure could have done to extract all those things from the system. And that is why we cry and wonder what is happening with the medical sector in Nigeria. See, I tell you, if this boy were to be abroad, if this boy were to be in developed countries like UK or in the US, I tell you, this boy will not die from that incident. He will not die, because see, there are people that have suffered from food poisoning. There are people that have drank maybe bleach or drank something, and because it was quickly detected, they were helped to flush out that poisonous thing from their system, and they ended up not dying. Unfortunately, in the case of Sylvester Oromoni, our medical sector failed him. The school also failed him, in the sense that the school should have, even if that incident happened and you are trying, and you are trying to protect your name, that should not warrant you to abandon, your humanity or your humaneness, and you should have still, said, oh, let's take this boy to the best of the hospitals and see if this issue can be quickly addressed. Whatever it is they've given him to drink, can be flushed out of the system. Nobody did that. Meanwhile, abroad, these are simple things, simple procedures that, I've been privileged to use the medical facility both in the UK and in the US. And one of the simple procedures they do for you when you come to complain of anything, they will ask you to open your mouth. When you open your mouth, they have this thing they dip in just to check the back of your throat. If that simple procedure had been done for Sylvester Oromoni, I tell you, they would have seen that a poisonous substance was poured into this boy's mouth, and that is what is causing all the internal pains he's experiencing. Apparently, that poisonous drink has started messing up his system, and unfortunately the hospital that he was taken to, again, they just laid him there. They said, oh, we are running tests. No, this was an emergency situation. If we have handled it as an emergency, if it was properly checked, if we were doing our work as medical practitioners, I tell you, even those of us who are not in the medical field, we could tell that no, from the look of his mouth, from all the bruises on his mouth, there were blood clots even in his mouth. You should have seen that no, this is poisoning. This is something that he drank that is now reacting internally, messing up his system. Little wonder we see people dying from ordinary malaria, ordinary headache, ordinary diseases in Nigeria, because our medical sector is in a mess. Recently, I was listening to the news and I heard how 950 million were being disbursed to 52 health centers on COVID. 950 million were distributed to 52 health centers. That's almost about 50 billion given out to 52 health centers in Nigeria, and all these health centers could not show us what was done with this money. Everything went to embezzlement. Corruption is too much, even at the expense of human life. We are too corrupt in this part of the world that the things that should save life will embezzle the fund. This is terrible. This is too bad. And I want other boarding schools to also take a lesson from this, because if you are collecting millions of naira, if you are collecting so much as school fees, I want to believe part of your costing should be medical services. And that medical services that you are billing to the parent, you should provide that quality service to their wards. I mean, you should have competent, skilled medical practitioner in your sick bay. There should be competent medical doctors. There should be competent matron, competent people that merely looking at those children or running tests or checking and examining them very well. You can tell what is happening to them, and if it's something beyond your If it's something beyond your expertise or your might, you can easily refer it to a teaching of hospital or to the best of hospital. I mean, Sylvester Oromoni was in a school that was in the heart of Lagos, and unfortunately, he could not get the best of hospitals to quickly detect what was happening to him and to help him flush out the poisonous substance that had been given to him and was messing up his system. And I tell you, this was going on for days. Incident happened, I think maybe in November 20 something, and this boy didn't die until, I mean, few days after, like maybe 2 days to his birthday, was when this boy passed on. I mean, the last space of 3 or 4 days could have saved his life. And that is why I wonder what our leaders go to do abroad. Many of them go to use medical facilities abroad, their children's school abroad, and they don't see what is happening there and come back to Nigeria to replicate the same thing. Because I keep wondering, why is it difficult for them to come back here and replicate the same thing? They fly abroad, to go take medical services, leaving people here to keep dying. We can address all the problems and the issues that we have there. I mean, medically speaking, a lot of people that are dying from minor sicknesses, minor diseases today should not have died. Unfortunately, Sylvester is also a victim of poor medical services, poor medical sector. Unfortunately, his country failed him. The medical sector failed him. His school failed him. All the so-called support system that he could have had that could have saved his life. So please, this is a lesson that we need to pay attention to our medical sector. Let's pay attention to our medical sector. Let's value human life. Let's not wait until something bad happens before we need to start addressing all of these things, because see, health is wealth. And let's have competent medical practitioners in our school sick bay, and even all these private hospitals. Let's make sure that the regulators regulating them or giving them licenses are also checking competencies and their skill before issuing them this license. Because I tell you, that boy should not have died. Whatever hospital they took him to, they were also incompetent there, because these are things that they should have swung into action immediately. Even if they were carrying out tests, the test results should have been something that would come out in an hour or two, and immediately they all swing into action to flush out the system. But unfortunately, that did not happen. If we were to be abroad, we would not have died. So he's a victim of circumstances. He just happened to be a victim of poor leadership, poor medical sector, poor everything, poor administration in his school, poor parenting, poor everything. Unfortunately, that was what happened to him. We are so sorry. We sympathize with this parent, but we hope that people will learn from this lesson. Everyone will learn from this, and please don't take your children to a boarding school that their sick bay, does not have competent medical practitioner. I would like to stop here, and I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to leave us a comment. What do you think? Do you think this boy would have died normally? Let me hear from you in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I remain your host in online. So meet again. Say bye.